Hello. Welcome back to the Red Intermission, the other place of wrath and tears. We are going to have ourselves a hell of a game, and it's going to be very exciting. So we're just going to hit the highlights, and then we are going to get right into it. Tonight is going to be one of those nights where if you watch Wrath and Tears and then you watch the Red Intermission, you will learn things. You will learn things that you will not be able to unlearn. Some of those Easter eggs of lore are going to be in tonight's episode. So thou art warned. Also, part of what we're going to deal with tonight, we're going to have some more MK Ultra fun. And then we're also going to be dealing more than a little bit with radiation and its effects on the human body. It's not going to be terribly body horror-y, like... It's not going to be as bad as I could potentially make it. Let me say that. But, you know, if that's a place that's got you feeling some kind of way, please take care of yourself, you know, and I'm looking at the people on the stream too, you know, X or you know, the modified version of head down, of hand down and look away. You know, it's okay to be a human being with feelings. I've been told, my therapist told me that once. I'm not convinced, but it's what the professionals keep saying. So, if you feel that way, it's okay. But we are going to launch right into it because, we have such sights to show you. Let us remember a man, regrettably. Let us remember Edward Alberts, an engineer at the Proving Grounds. Edward Alberts is... He is one of those people that when he found out he was handsome, the world actually became measurably worse. He found out he was handsome and then found out what handsome can do if you're a narcissist. He has the perfect movie star blonde hair, immaculately coiffed and pomaded. He has the cheekbones, he has the jawline, he has the shoulders, he has, as one could say, the whole fucking package. However, he also has a voice that is too loud all the time. He is one of these people that is so... okay, I'm not talking shit on extroverts. This guy's an asshole. He just happens to be a loud one. He approaches the world at a volume that doesn't really get what he wants, in as much as people will give him whatever he wants to go away. He has regrettably recontextualized this personality as seductive, much to the detriment of the species. However, there's a very good chance that we're going to fix the fuck out of that soon, because he is currently sitting at... So imagine, now we're not, the Van Horsts aren't here, so we're not at the best restaurant in town. We're probably at the third best restaurant in town, because that's what kind of a guy he is. And so it's kind of what do you think, Samara? Do you think it's Italian? Like, where does this jabroni take the red lady?
It's Italian in that it's like the one Italian place that didn't start under mob control. Someone knew that there was a lot of interest in Italy, in Vegas, and so they made the Italian vibe in this restaurant, which I'm sure thrilled everyone who was Italian.
Yes, in the greater Pittsburgh area, we make that distinction between Italian and Italian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's an Italian restaurant. So it's got the checker. I'm laggy tonight and I'm mad about it. It's got the checkerboard tablecloth. It's got the candle and the bottle that's
wrapped at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Red Lady, he is making the most obnoxious set of like goo eyes at you ever. Like he's just
the most interested in what he has to say.
I'm very sure. and he is describing what he does for work. He is absolutely needing it. If you didn't know this guy, like if you had no context for him, by the end of the night, you would think that this is the guy that like Ian Fleming called to get tips on writing James Bond. Yes.
Incredible. Just amazing.
Yeah. Incredible. Just amazing. Isn't he lovely? So he, being the cad that he is, Red Lady, he says this like he's being slick. He says this like he's closing a deal. He leans in, and with that astoundingly repugnant breath of his, that smells like burn and rot and pig and tobacco. He
and also now like chicken parm.
Yes. Ugh. And he says, what do you say we skip dessert and go right to dessert?
I thought you'd never ask. And she gets up from the table first.
And this is the moment where, like, he kind of reveals himself to the Red Lady, because he absolutely has, like, a little, like, hot damn, like, that line worked. Like, if this guy was around... He
doesn't honestly usually expect to get this far.
Yeah. If he was around 60 years later, he would absolutely be wearing a Supreme ball cap backwards.
Flat cap.
Yeah.
When he gets up, she takes his arm, still very ladylike, and says, lead the way.
And he absolutely does. And lady, he makes a point of like taking a slightly longer route as if to make sure that everyone in the hotel knows exactly what he's bringing home to fuck. Like he's just, I even hate describing him, but so yeah, probably the third floor. This guy doesn't make penthouse money. Like he doesn't make fancy hotel room money. So it's just a normal room. And he's, you feel an amount of concern for the kind of person that this works on. This is not a net for the healthy. And so he kind of, he makes some googly eyes again, or whatever, the seductive eyes, opens the door with a little bit of a flourish, like he's opening the front door to the Taj Mahal, and says, after you.
A gentleman, why thank you. And she strides in and casually flicks her pocketbook over onto the bed.
Okay.
And
there is an overfull ashtray, and there is a small, simple pine box, probably 18 by 18 by 18 with handles on it, that is absolutely full to the brim with this gross, speckled, greenish, brownish, yellowish glass. It's very dirty looking. It's got all kinds of bubbles and inclusions in it. It's not great.
That's a secret tool that will help us later.
Yeah.
She pays that box no mind. And as soon as he closes the door, and this is all entirely calculated, not that he will notice, she tries to grab him by the tie and pull him forward into a kiss. It pops off because it's a false tie. And she gives one of those giggles to sort of break the tension, and then pushes him back against the door and tries again. And it's just, it is an aggressive kiss. It is borderline predatory. Not that he would know.
this generally has not been a pleasant experience. The food is not the best part of the illusion. The company is certainly not the best part of the illusion. None of this is the parts that are fun, or at least on a sensory level pleasing. But the sound he makes when the scale tips in that contact is probably the best part of the night. That right when the sensory information starts to change tone. And his hands are kind of like doing the hourglass thing down her sides, and one of them twitches with, like, one of his arms twitches with pain. And yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I think she allows herself a little bit of like, all right, we're making the best of this situation. This isn't all bad. And she goes for some of the buttons on the front of the shirt, and then, as if in a fit of passion and just can't wait, goes for the belt instead.
Okay. While you do that, he looks at his lip and just kind of stares for a minute, trying to figure out if it's your lipstick or his blood.
Good question.
And it's just, you can feel like the fear stink starts to rise off him through the cheap wine and the bad cigarettes and the drugs and the radioactive bacon. Yeah, we'll talk about that more in a minute, don't worry.
We sure will. It's the worst, y'all.
Yep.
This is the good. That moment of exactly when arousal and fear start to mix. This is pleasing. This is what we want out of the evening. Just at least a bit of that. And she goes in for a kiss even harder that might almost be described as CPR.
Okay.
And
the back of his head bounces off the door.
And she gets the belt undone and goes in over the standard 1950s boxer briefs.
Mm-hmm.
And after a few moments of gentle massage, he feels just a pinprick in the upper thigh.
Does he now?
Yes, just beneath his power source.
Okay.
And then it starts to get warm.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably takes him a little second to realize that that's not anything premature. That was an artery.
It probably does take him a couple moments to figure that out. And so now he is, well, there's enough blood there. Not quite in the right spot, and certainly leaving quickly. So in the last few panicked, confused moments of his life, Red Lady, what kind of experience do you guide his soul into another place with? Like, what's the last moments?
Oh, the last visual is this stunning creature that he somehow tricked into coming back into his room. Only she's on fire? No. She's on fire inside. No. There is fire behind her eyes that is so bright it is visible to the naked eye. And she is grinning. And that grin is shark-like, with fangs that, definitely left some marks in his lip. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. And at that point, I believe the description we used in our planning was rip him like tissue paper.
Yes.
And at that point, she removes his most blessed pieces. And that's when things start to go black.
I would agree that the pain in that experience is probably enough to make him shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And so, someone that no one will miss dies. I'm not sorry. You shouldn't be sorry. And leaves behind the detritus of the species. Empty meat, congealing liquids, slackening lactic acid-filled muscles. Junk. Crap. Illusion. And do you care at all about the mess you just left behind? Are you just going to leave this, like, nouveau art here?
Well, I have to move it away from the door because I do have to get out again. So unfortunately, it's not the perfect tableau that she would have preferred to leave. It's not full on art. This is your more improvised kind of business. But she kind of meat puppets him for a second to shove him out of the way. Just in and off again. Just to move him as efficiently as she can. And she looks at her bloody hand. And she's like, all right. And for that, just to add a little something, she gives one big sliding handprint down the wall right above him. And she looks at it. And she's pleased. Like, okay, now we're getting back into art territory. Then she goes over to that box of just ugly, unimpressive looking glass. And she picks it up. And she gets her pocketbook. And she walks out.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to bring with you?
Maybe if he has anything exciting, but certainly nothing of him.
No, the only thing that's remotely exciting is because you can kind of sense the weird around it. Is there's a little tin, probably started life as like a mint tin or something like that, but inside it are these little shavings of something brown and striated and stinking. It smells like over-smoked meat and tobacco and other smells. It is profoundly terrible.
But does it smell of something beyond the illusion?
Yes, in a weird way. It doesn't smell like it is beyond the illusion. It smells like the t-shirt you bought when you went beyond the illusion. It is the result of something, and it is a strange little thing, and it isn't quite part of the truth, but it is a taste of the edge of the lie.
She sees it, considers it, puts the box down, picks it up, sniffs it, does that.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
And like sniffs it more delicately and reservedly. Puts it in the box.
Yeah, it's weird. All right.
It's weird, but it's curious.
Yes. And I think we're done here.
We're done here.
We're done here. And the Red Lady leaves this small room with blood behind her and blood on her in a recreation of the reason she's actually called the Red Lady. But regrettably this time it's just the blood of some stupid human. and not the blood of an Archon.
We work with what we have.
Indeed. Well, David's sitting in the car. He has been bullied into changing shirts.
With the same calm that she exited a certain halfway house with a fella named Gene not that long ago, she exits this hotel, if you want to be so generous, and indicates that he should get out and pop the trunk.
Which he does.
Carrying a box.
Which he does. You actually see him go through kind of like the mental decision-making process of like, I see her coming and she has a box and she's going to want me to open the trunk or the back door. Should I go out? Like, he's right on the edge of like realizing of choosing to do it, but there's still a deep vein of brat in David. And however, he gets out of the car and he stands up and he turns and his entire body rotates like the searchlight on the tower of a military base, and his nostrils flare and he opens his mouth and he takes one of those with the nose and the mouth breaths, and he tastes the blood and the internal organs, and he chuckles and says, "Oh, thank goodness. I didn't want to have to go back up there and kill that man naked."
Understandable.
Yeah. All right. And he pops the trunk and
she puts the box in and she takes her pocketbook back out and she goes around, and we are past the point of making David open the door for her, so she gets in the passenger side.
Okay. David sits down and kind of like, you can't see it, and like taps his fingers on the steering wheel in kind of a contemplative sort of way and says, "Do you have a name?"
Today?
Well, you see, I'm worried that calling you lady all the time might send the
go to
wrong
my
message.
head.
Might go to somebody's head. So I was wondering if you had something else knocking around.
Oh, I have several. Which would you like?
How about you just pick one and let me know?
Ellery.
Ellery.
Ellery. Let's go with Ellery.
Ellery it is. Well, Miss Ellery, it's not Mrs. Ellery, is it?
Wouldn't that be funny?
You know what? Pretend I never asked that. I pretend just. Where are we going next?
Ah, yes, good. We're going into the desert. I'll give you directions as we drive. We have the pieces. Now we need a maker.
David gives a just like I'm stuck here sort of face. Like, he's agreed to the truce. He actually instigated the truce. He's agreed to the ceasefire. He's agreed to work together, and now he has to deal with that fact. And so we head out to the desert, and we have been given some writing to describe the cannibal howling desert, and I'm going to read some of it because it's always better when a native tells you how awful the area is. You find yourself on Highway 95 soon enough, headed north as a matter of fact. This far from the shining lights and oasis of buildings that is Las Vegas, the only trace of humanity is the pavement beneath the car. The horizon is not featureless, but somehow this only seems to enhance the bright void above you. There is more sky to be seen out here in a single moment than many people will see in an entire week. If you were to stand still and look up out into that golden sky, you would have to lay down and grab the nearest sagebrush for fear of falling off the planet. On the left side of the car, barely 2 miles off, you can feel the oppressive presence of air roiling and superheating, unable to escape the open maw of the mountains. Thankfully, your destination does not lie within Death Valley. This barren, alien wasteland is not so barren after all if you take the time to look. Amongst the dotted sea of sagebrush, you catch glimpses of endless tiny realities. A king snake eating a rattlesnake, roadrunners chasing lizards. Once you were lucky enough to see a shrike impale a field mouse on a stretch of barbed wire fence. Pronghorn antelope leap gracefully amongst the plant life. Turkey vultures wheel in lazy circles, but no, those aren't vultures. The undersides have a splash of white. Their heads are pale, pinkish skin. They are too low. No, they're not too low. That's just how big they are. The birds swoop low to catch the new air current the car gives off as it races along the desert. Those wings are easily 9 feet across. A dozen or more California condors have collectively decided this car is the most interesting thing they're going to see all day. Who knows? They might even get a meal out of it. The drive takes exactly as long as you expect it to. The problem is that the length of time is exactly too long to be stuck in the car together, without radio signal, nothing but the blast furnace heat, the jagged teeth of the mountains, the entourage of the condors, and each other for company. Lady, how do you think you and David have gotten along in this interminable bright stretch of Western Hell Pit?
Oh, she has driven him to the brink of freaking out probably half a dozen times. Just needling him and wheedling him and just getting him to that point, but not pushing him over the edge. Because we still have to be in the car for a fair bit longer, and we are currently at a truce.
We are currently
for that war we were apparently fighting.
Well,
so
yeah.
It's not irritating child, are we there yet? It's God. She just knows how to get in there, to find all the little cracks and chinks in his armor and poke at them. Are you human? Where do your loyalties really lie? Tell me about your life. Your very human, clearly mortal flesh and blood life. And really just anything that's going to put him on edge.
Roll influence.
Sure. That is total an 11.
Okay. The bugging him about his life is actually the thing that gets him not to snap, but gets him to stop really considering his infosec properly. And what you notice is that he has told you about 2 childhoods. One in New England. The other one in Scotland. And the way the memories blend is very interesting, because he will talk about how he went to somewhere in New Hampshire, and then suddenly he will get on his bike and he will be across the ocean. It is as if 2 sets of memories have struggled to blend themselves and have created this disjointed, disconnected, for anyone else, deeply unsettling memory structure that there is something in that head, and there is more than one something.
Notice that he's doing that?
He doesn't. He doesn't know what he's doing, but the way he interfaces with it is the same way almost anyone tries to tell a story about their childhood, where they'll be telling the story and then they'll kind of look off into the distance and try to remember a point of data, and then kind of do that like, well, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if it was a Tuesday because that's not relevant to the story. That just kind of like, I need to stop worrying about that and get back to the narrative. Like, all that matters is that I had my BB gun and I was on my bike. Like, it doesn't matter what day of the week it was, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
as a gesture of good faith, she will occasionally drop a tidbit of information about herself. It is clear that she has been active on Elysium for at least 30 years. Other stories shall tell about the distant past, they come and go, but it sounds like she's been exclusively or majority on Elysium since perhaps Armistice Day.
Oh, what an interesting day.
Isn't it though?
Now, that's a very demure timeline, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
Funny that.
But I guess we don't have to talk about what you were doing here before the day.
No.
Before freedom, before loss. We don't have to talk about that. That was a different you, wasn't it? And getting towards the end of the drive, David stops and get gas, and like David claims he has to pee. And he kind of gets back into the car and he hands you a Coca-Cola.
Sure.
And has him, and he starts the car and he drums his fingers on the steering wheel again and says, I wouldn't have killed that guy for you. But if you couldn't kill that guy and you needed him to die, I would have done it.
She tries not to crack up at the idea that she couldn't kill that guy. And instead, she opens her bottle of Coke. These are the glass pop. What is the word? Oh my God, bottle cap. The cap of the bottle. She just pops it open with her own fingernail, and she takes a swig of it, and she goes, my dear hunter killer, there will be plenty of opportunities. Don't you worry.
And when he says, I imagine so, you can hear the deadpan anticipation in that voice. He will not give you the victory of actually letting his excitement reach his voice. But in many ways, such interests are more notable for their lack than their presence.
And she takes another swig of her Coke and goes, it was so much better when it had actual coca.
No shit?
No shit.
No shit. We actually probably could have won Korea if they kept giving us, the same uppers they gave us in World War I, but different time, I guess.
You'd be shocked at how accurate that statement is.
Yeah. And you just watch him push an entire refrigerator-sized box of trauma back into the closet. He just we're just going to put that PTSD back under the fucking stairs. Just, it's visible on his face.
Oh, yeah. We are not touching that one today.
Yep. Back there to ferment and drip chromium murder through his bones. Because it never goes away. You just pretend it's not there. So, roads are turned off of, major roads are turned off of, winding roads are now approached, and we are coming up to where we're going. So, before we are introduced to the house and its resident, is there anything you want to say to David in private before?
All I tell him is that we are meeting an old friend.
And he legitimately cranks his head around to glare at you.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I do have friends. I know this may shock you, Hunter Killer.
I am shocked. Now, is this a friend, or is this just one of your favorite patsies?
And she makes a show of considering that for a second. It's like, we have done much for each other over the years. Not just I for her or her for me.
David purses his lips in what is rapidly becoming his unspoken, his nonverbal tell for, I can smell the bullshit, I just can't find where it is. And let us introduce our visitor for tonight.
Yes.
And let's hear about where they live.
So her house is on top of a large, lonely butte. The sagebrush ended who knows how long ago. It is tall, pale, smooth, perfectly polished concrete. You think it might be adobe for a second, but no, that's concrete. Huge, thick glass windows showing off a clean, white, elegant interior, absolutely dazzling with glass and crystal. Lady, you can see that most of that glass is dazzling. Most of that glass is bright green to you. And what is crystal, you know, is probably, just because you know her, leaded crystal. Because why not? Every angle and curve is just so and looks just as it should be. It is every perfect platonic ideal of Art Deco. In the driveway sits a somehow way too clean 1938 Buick wide job. And when you two do eventually get out of the car and walk to the front door, there is a note attached to the front door in immaculate spidery handwriting. In the garden, come around back. S.
David at this point has transcended like War Angel and has become a frown elemental. Like he is just
he's so angry.
He's not even angry. He's just like,
Oh, bless. Oh.
The Muppet frown, the full.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's full Sam the Eagle.
Bless. All right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he is Sam the Eagle.
Right. The personification of a very cranky American dream. Yeah, David is Sam Eagle.
He is Sam Eagle. I assume you two go around the back.
Yes. She, the red lady, plucks the note from the door and sort of holds it over her shoulder the way one might hold a handbag and goes, "Come along," and leads the way around the back.
There is no garden back there. There is absolutely no plant life. There is no show of fake plant life either. But what there is around on this smooth red-brown rock, there is somehow a cave mouth jutting up from the top of this butte that you couldn't quite see. But then again, you couldn't see the house from down at the base of it. Mm-hmm. Inside, the sunlight doesn't reach in there, but she catches the light somehow. She's faced away from you. She was picking away at the wall as a woman clad in black and green, and her hair is wrapped in scarves. She turns around, and you could swear on that rock face is a horrified rictus grin of a face, missing part of its face. An incision, you can only call it an incision in this bubble, and green glow sort of trickles out like gas. As the more you look at this cave, the irregularities are, God, you wish they didn't look like bodies, warped and swollen with, oh, can we not call them tumors? Can we just say that they're rocks, please? That's better. Oh. And she smiles, and when she smiles, her grin shines. And David, you are reminded of Malice Van Horst's favorite watch face. And she says, Electra, oh, my stars and garters, is it really you here in the flesh?
Miss Sylvia, my lady radium. And she walks right up and takes her hands in her hands and just full European kisses. This is probably the most animated David has ever seen her.
Yep.
This
David is just standing there holding a box
babies.
of glass, just staring.
I love what you've done with the place. Look at this.
I'm very proud of the latest installation in here, the latest art project, shall we call it.
And the house, is this a Guggenheim?
You know what? He did stop by and design it for me.
Impressive. Oh, this is David.
David. She'll give him a David.
Ma'am.
David
Please.
and I are colleagues, you might say.
Colleagues.
David, this is Miss Sylvia Shield.
She'll hold out a gloved hand.
And in the flip-flop that's becoming more recognizable to the Red Lady, something older and perfectly trained reaches out and takes her hand and gives the perfect genuflection that is absolutely at odds with his very American others. Like, he looks American, he sounds American, his accent is absolutely like USA, but somehow this mechanically perfect genuflection comes out of that.
Fascinating. Where did you find this one? Come inside.
Thank you.
It's hot out here.
Yes, and it is a complicated story that I look forward to telling you.
Everything, of course. All in due time, I'm sure.
And we follow the Lady Radium inside.
Inside, it is cool from the high ceilings, but you know up there on the second story, which is very open, it must be sweltering. She'll lead you into a very well-appointed kitchen. Most everything is white with pops of green because, well, you do catch, though the specific color of green is something that is not never really caught on in popularity in America. It is a very specific sort of pale emerald green. It is, in fact, Shields green. Mm-hmm. You can set the glass on the kitchen table there. Can I get you any drinks? Anything? I don't have any soft drinks, but I've got
parched.
I have some ethyl, some of that old stuff from the 30s.
Oh, please.
I've been saving it for a special occasion. David, would you like a glass?
Of ethyl.
Yes.
Yes.
The good stuff, poisoned by the government themselves.
I don't think that would sit well.
Wouldn't it?
Are you sure?
You're in this house, aren't you? How do you feel? Feverish? Sick? Are you feeling short of breath? How's your teeth? Tell me, how are your ankles?
They're fine.
Wonderful.
Why wouldn't they be?
Oh, then cheers with us, won't you?
Well, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. She'll pour them glasses and get ice out of the ice box. Needle on the rocks.
Rocks, he says, choosing to play along.
A good choice.
Good choice.
It can be a little strong, straight up.
It really can. Some say it's an acquired taste.
Yeah, he takes the glass. And he's not going to drink it yet, but he's going to hold it. Like, he's hoping that he can get away with just holding the glass in his hand and being polite. Until both of you take a drink. And
to the Agape Lodge. Because without that, our dearly departed Jack, you would not be in this house, and this house would not be here.
To the lodge and to dear Jack. How we miss him.
Bless him. Bless his memory. It won't bite. Okay. Well, it will, but like alcohol bites.
Intriguing, isn't he?
Right. Fascinating. I thought I heard a car drive up. You can't just be a driver. Knowing Electra, what? Wouldn't I just love to just take you apart?
He works for the Van Horst, darling.
That reminds me, before you leave, before I forget, over on that shelf, David, there is Malice's last order. He forgot to have anyone come pick it up from the New Jersey location. So be a dear. Get that to him, shall you? Please.
He's dead.
I'm aware. It's
and you still want me to give it to him?
It's bought and paid for. I don't want it in my house anymore. I'm out of the watch business, but hand painted like all of his other ones. So.
Wouldn't Matthew love it?
Oh, dear little Matthew. Oh, bless him.
Yes, all grown up. They all are.
I only remember him when he was about knee-high to a grasshopper.
Yes, and Bethany is beautiful.
I bet you think she is. She always was, though.
You can actually hear the metallic hackles on the back of his neck, like his self-defense barbs hidden behind his illusion, like actually kind of rattle at that as he puts the drink down and stands up and goes to find this fucking watch.
But so you're completely out of the watch business now. Have you moved on entirely?
I'll do, small projects, but on a large scale, not like it was in the 20s, No. Those damn doctors started realizing that it gives people cancer. And not just, it actually doesn't, it acts too fast to give it cancer. It more just kills you. But
yes, it is unfortunate. Your pieces were exquisite.
I dabbled actually back into glass blowing when I was in the 30s, when the uranium was still so new. Oh, that was a century ago, wasn't it? When they started making uranium glass.
Oh, yes, that's right.
18th time.
Time is such a funny thing. Yes, I did receive the most recent piece you sent, by the way. It is perfect on my shelf. Thank you.
Good. I was hoping so. Inspiration struck, and I just had to send it.
Perfect. One of a kind. Now, that brings us to this box I brought here. I have a proposition for you.
I'm listening.
What I need is a lighthouse.
Well, I can't do anything but the...
I need to be able to see through the illusion and all the way to Metropolis. And I know just the glassmaker to build me that lamp.
I can absolutely build you the lamp as long as you've got the rest of the construction.
Of course, yes.
I can make you that lens. I can make it magnifying if you want.
Perfect. We brought you Trinitite fresh from the proving grounds.
Oh, those mountains. Glorious.
Yes. So that is my proposal to you. I'm thinking about, and she starts like demonstrating sizing and what it would look like.
Yes.
Essentially a huge
a notebook
Fresnel
and pencil
lamp.
have been produced.
Yes.
Yes.
So what do you think?
Oh, I can make it, absolutely. It'll take me a little bit of time.
Of course.
I might want something in return.
Naturally. What were you thinking?
Well, it's so hard to get the depleted rods shipped down from Atomic City, and they don't take root in my garden the way I'd like. I'm hoping a person.
Go on.
Let me remember. I'm searching my memory. I must have drank this ethyl a bit too fast. I'm affected, I believe. I'm definitely not searching my notes because I forgot.
It's on page 3.
I know. I'm looking. Oh, fuck. Oh, God.
Live theater.
Jesus. There's a house in San Francisco.
Oh.
There's a man in there. And I know he's in there and I can feel it, but I don't like going into San Francisco itself. It's too electric. It's, how do I explain this? Straying too far from, shall we say, the proving grounds or my garden might be difficult if I didn't bring it with me. And doing that without notice anymore is difficult.
Of course, yes.
But there's also something else in that house. I can feel him in there, but there's something in that house that I don't like.
Interesting.
I won't go in by myself at the very least.
And who is this fellow?
Michael Hauser. He's a prospector. For uranium.
I know that name. Why do I know that name? Did we meet at the lodge? Was it one of Jack's parties?
I think we did. It was I took an interest in him about 10 years ago. He's one of the few men that we have both met that didn't prefer red over green.
Oh, yes. I do remember him.
Yes. From Appalachia. Expert dowser, which is rarer and rarer these days.
Indeed.
Especially outside of Appalachia. But he wanted to go strike it rich. And needed a piece of war. Well, not quite.
It sounds like he's found himself in a bit of an awkward situation, at least nowadays.
He did almost strike it rich in Arizona. I handed him a piece of pitch blende that he managed to follow back, but now he's stuck in San Francisco. I was hoping maybe we could work something out.
I'm sure I could make some calls, see where he's currently located, and then she looks at David. See what we all can do.
I love this.
Now, do you want him to help tend the garden, or do you want him in the garden?
In the garden is best. If he was going to tend the garden, he'd probably last about as long as those radium girls did.
All right, very true, very true. All right then. May I use your telephone?
Please. And she'll wave a hand and a light over a telephone that there is no cord. There's a phone cord, but there have been no power lines, no phone lines. Nothing in here has any cords.
The red lady seems completely unfazed by that and just goes to use the phone. As if assuming it will work, will make it work.
It will work.
By the way, Bet is delighted with how this is going. I'm trying to emulate David's face journey as he listens to this conversation.
Just the frown. We could replace you with a picture of Sam Eagle, and that would be about where David is right now.
Yeah. I'm also thinking about the displeased Horst from the old Ren and Stimpy cartoon. Like,
absolutely.
No, sir, I don't like it.
Nope, no, sir. No, sir, I don't like it.
Sir, don't like it.
While the red lady is making a series of diagnostic calls, the Lady Radium is welcome to chat with David.
Yes.
Pitch blend.
Yes.
Uranium.
Yeah, uranitite, but yes. With a little bit of radium, usually found in it, depending if you get it from Poland or here.
So you're saying I'm going to glow when I walk out of here? Was that what you were trying to tell me earlier?
Would you like to? I have some face cream I could send with you. Or some, I don't know, toothpaste, or I'm sure I have some jewelry that you would find acceptable.
No, thank you, ma'am.
Pity. Although, to be fair, you don't need it. And at this point, you notice that her voice is kind of shifted. There is something extra on the other side of the illusion. The voice sounds less transatlantic and smoky and more like the sounds of lip-pointed paintbrushes painting watch hands, and the sounds of legs breaking under their own weight. I don't think I need to affect you at all for you to be singular. My, you are unique.
Oh, I see.
What?
Just hope that one fucking place she took me wasn't going to be like this, but...
What, do you think I'm going to seduce you?
No, I don't.
I mean, it would be a whole different party if we did. I don't really think you're her type, though.
Not a type.
Sure.
With a flourish, the red lady puts down the receiver, goes, I know exactly where he is.
This is why I love you.
David?
Yes?
Let's go to San Francisco.
If you take your first left, you'll cut about 3 hours off your travel time.
Okay. I guess we're going to San Francisco. At least it'll be colder.
Lovely.
And the red lady presents her arm to the Lady Radium as if being a gentleman.
Yes, of course, my gloves, I can't forget them. You know, women nowadays never wear their gloves out when they're out in public anymore. And I don't know what's wrong with them.
Fashions are changing a mile a minute nowadays.
I just look out of fashion anymore. It's too hard to keep up.
Oh, but it's so fun trying to.
I still miss the corsets.
A full wasp waist.
I know that. Good S bend.
And they're tittering like old friends as they follow David out to the car.
Yep. Is it Is Lady Radium coming with us? Ben knows the answer, but when does David figure this out?
Well, I mean, I'm fairly certain that she does, but
I think when it becomes apparent that they're not just walking to the gate and saying their kissy goodbyes.
Yeah, there's no kissy goodbye. There is no pause of there is no Midwestern whelp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as soon as he notices that absence, she is probably standing at the door waiting for someone to get the door for her and pulling on her gloves.
Right. Okay.
I can take my car.
I think this one will be fine. And he pops the trunk and it doesn't have anything in the trunk because we're not taking the Trinitite with us. Nope. So he
does like his creature comforts.
Yeah. And with a carefully schooled blank face, David opens the door.
Thank you, David.
And the red lady will get in the back seat with the Lady Radio.
Yeah! There is produced from somewhere, from some fold of this voluminous dress, a bottle of the apple and 2 glasses because, well, actually 3 because she's not rude. And it's the 50s. You want a glass? Have a glass. We're only driving to San Francisco.
We don't even have seat belts yet.
It's a house. What even a jump?
Safety.
We barely have brakes.
It's true.
At least all the asbestos will keep us from burning to death.
It's just a monster road trip.
Yay!
Yeah. And so David, somehow looking less happy about things than when he pulled up to the Red Lady's house that last game, puts the car in drive and starts heading to San Francisco. So we have a great deal of we have some things to do. We have some injustices to commit. We have some atrocities to inflict. And so we're going to dive right into it. I'm just going to flag real quick. We're going to get into some MK Ultra stuff and some sex work related stuff. So, do the thing, be smart, take care of yourself. We love you, drink your water. So we are on Chestnut Street in San Francisco. And if you are my age and you grew up watching way too many Dirty Harry movies, this is one of those straight sloping streets that looks like someone's first attempts at a perspective drawing. And it is nice and cool, for at least one person in this group considers it nice and cool. And so we are on Chestnut Street. We are opposite number 225C. And for those of you that wonder, that is a place where some bad things happened. A place where an operation called Midnight Climax happened. And they actually named it that on purpose.
That is the true name.
That is the actual name. Once again, all this stuff is MK Ultra related.
Yep.
Which means that it's human experimentation and evil government stuff, and lots of bad things happen. So, Google with the appropriate level of caution.
Literally, it's not even a conspiracy theory; it's actual history. This shit
legitimately was a thing.
Yeah. I feel like what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to record like a what the fuck was MK Ultra episode. Like with me and Samara just screaming conspiracy theories and frothing at the mouth for 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to be part of that because, hi.
Okay.
Hi, yes, hello.
Let's yell about the weird shit the government did in the 50s.
Yeah, that we have on paper. And they destroyed a bunch of the records in the 70s. This is just what's left over.
Yep.
Anyway, it became a hyperfixation a couple of months ago, and I just have to stop myself. Otherwise, I just... So, across the street, the red lady is on a payphone. Look it up. And she is not getting the information she wants, which, when this person dials this particular number and says these particular words at the beginning of the phone call, that's not how this is supposed to go. This is an offense. This is an insult to the righteous order of the world. And I tell you what, when the red lady is offended that the world is not working correctly, that means it's working exceedingly incorrectly. Apparently, this little piece of MK Ultra has decided to go dark. Somebody somewhere found in Gottlieb's mess, because remember, the guy that ran MK Ultra also did a shitload of acid. No one was sober in the chain of command. And so somewhere in one of his documents, they found a clause and a code, and they kind of Legoed together. And for about 3 weeks now, Operation Midnight Climax, which is the government-run, led, and founded operation where sex workers would pick up Johns or Janes and bring them back to the safe house, dose them to the fucking gills with acid, have sex with them, and then see what the combination of acid and oxytocin could do to information security. And
while under observation via one-way mirrors and holes cut in bathroom walls, and it's so weird, guys. It's real weird.
It's real weird, and I'm going to be honest, wild shit happens. That's the answer that they found out is wild shit happens in your brain. In theory, I don't know.
Yeah. I've chosen not to take hallucinogens because I don't want to know.
No, it's fine. You don't need to. It's fine.
No.
There's some shit you just can't ever unsee.
Yep. I got enough of that from the unregulated internet when I was a kid. So, yeah. So this safe house and this small part of MK Ultra at Red Lady have gone rogue. Essentially, they've gone legally rogue, which means that they're not technically rogue, but they filed the paperwork to go rogue, which is that kind of like following the rules and breaking the rules would typically deeply entertain you. But today, because it's in your way, it's just annoying.
Yeah, they're still doing everything they wanted to do, but now technically they're not under Gottlieb's purview.
Yeah.
Which is inconvenient for me.
Yes. Like, technically, if Gottlieb really wanted to, he could pull some strings and say some things and probably get 2 or 3 dozen, like, various MK Ultra related strongmen here. But he's also just kind of like, eh. Like, until this conversation, he was eh. Now he's like, eh, question mark? But even then, the wheels of government bureaucracy do not spin any faster when lubricated by hallucinogens. So relying on them to unfuck their fuck is not on our timetable.
Fine. She decides to end the conversation very politely and stalks away from the payphone back to the car.
Okay. You did get one good thing. It was tangential, so it's not related to this, but it is literally the only thing that is keeping you from turning a measurable percentage of San Francisco inside out in a fit of paracausal rage. You received, because you used the code phrases, you received a Argent Iconoclast trigger. Mm-hmm. There is a iconoclast subject who has been recently retained in San Francisco.
Noted.
Yeah.
In this facility.
Because synchronicity makes my brain feel happy, yes.
Well, at least 2 birds with 1 stone.
Mm-hmm.
She returns to the car, and she, still graceful, but without the practiced feline ease, kind of flumps dramatically back into the back seat and says, well, this is the place, and he's there. But my contacts can't get us what we want. They have apparently gone rogue, and so, I suppose, must we.
Oh no, what a shame.
Exactly what organization do you think we're going rogue from?
Oh, it's complicated. It's the government, but they don't want anyone to know it's the government, so there are layers of secrecy and silly code names and code phrases. I have contacts. Fairly high up in the organization, but they can't help. Not this time. But since we're here, I say we turn it into an opportunity.
Okay. This is I have received no reports on this kind of a situation. Is that what you're saying?
Nor will they in the future.
Are you? That sounds like you're suggesting a kill everyone in the building. Are we doing a kill everybody in the building?
Oh, are we? Oh, Electra.
Thought it might be fun.
I haven't been able to do this in so long.
David?
I can actually take off my gloves. I don't want to stain them.
Of course.
Yes.
How are you feeling?
Conflicted?
How are your ankles?
They're fine.
Great.
Just checking.
Fine.
I think it might be time for us all to go for a little walk. Don't you?
I love walkies. David, just out of curiosity, have you ever had lysergic acid?
No. I mean, sulfuric acid, hydrofluoric acid.
Lysergic acid, diethylamide. LSD.
No, I don't even know what that is.
Oh, bless you. It's great.
Oh, I see. I see.
Then I think it was,
perhaps I
if he
should
had ever
understand.
met Jack. When you have a day off, David, let me know.
Well, you remember Jean, our
Yes.
oracle. Yes, David?
Yeah.
The reason he was so open to seeing through the illusion is because his mind was riddled with chemicals that made him see so.
Yeah, but he didn't look like he was okay.
If you do enough of it, you aren't. There's very frightening things to see on the other side of that illusion. I own a mirror, I'm aware. But it's, in short, all it does is make your brain make connections that it wouldn't normally make connections. You see things that are and are not, will and will not be. You see things you wouldn't normally see, and, well, some of the faces. Some of those faces. Oh.
And if you're touched in just the right way, it is a portal to the truth, which is, as we know, a bit much for many mortal minds to comprehend. What they see as drug-induced hallucinations, we know to be tears in the fabric of the illusion. They're seeing the truth of it, the reality, the cat butt.
Sounds to me like you're talking about all of the things that are why the Van Horsts are missing.
Yes, precisely.
So
I'm sorry, they're missing?
Yes, that's
And
what we need the lighthouse
she'll level
for.
her gaze at the red lady. I'm fucking sorry.
Yes, of course, that's why we need the lighthouse. We need to guide them home. or what they consider to be home for the time being.
Home enough. Well, just one for the road before we go in there, then, I suppose.
Why don't I set the scene for us?
Please.
So we don't wake the neighbors.
Okay.
And the red lady steps out of the car. And she is going to cast a spell.
Oh, fuck yeah!
Yep, I'm pulling it up too.
Oh, yeah.
Magical up in this bitch. Now I gotta see what woo-woo I can do.
What she is going to do is bend the illusion. And what she starts to realize, because this is a ritual, it's going to take a little bit. She notes that it's so easy. Everyone here is so close to tearing apart already. She doesn't say the phrase, "this is a piece of cake," but it's a strong implication that all the fucked upness in this house is going to make that bend super simple.
Yes. And also, it doesn't at all hurt with the fact that this is directly inside kind of her trope or her domain.
Yeah.
Secrets and magic and madness and all of that. That's very much her.
Yeah.
So you're going to use reality twist.
Yes.
Okay.
Reality twist with a dose of oubliette.
Okay.
To make this a place of reality and unreality. We are going to break the Euclidean geometry a little bit. We are going to make ourselves easy entrances and exits that are inaccessible to everyone currently in the house. We are going to funhouse mirror the interior. It's haunted house, it's carnival ride, it's an MC Escher painting. Just reality is going to go bug fuck, and the illusion is going to seep through, and it's going to be contained within this reality bubble. This, David Bowie's labyrinth contact juggling ball. It's all going to stay nicely right in there so that nobody wakes the neighbors.
And if anyone in chat is currently screaming at the top of their lungs, I'd like to inform you that is the correct response. So, looking at this extremely professionally written character sheet for the Red Lady, it seems that the action is make up some bullshit and roll plus magic.
Yeah.
Right from the source. So, it sounded like you made up some bullshit, so roll plus magic.
I sure did make up some bullshit.
I'm going to say that you get a +2 because this is like right in the center line.
Excellent. That is 21.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Okay. So you have some decisions to make with that power.
Mm-hmm. Hit me.
So you get to pick
That's
3
right.
benefits, and you can take doubles. You don't have to pick them all now. So, yeah, because you can declare a previously undefined reality warp to avoid a GM move. Heist movie bullshit. Doors open in perfect order. Things drop 4 stories right into a suit pocket, etc. A minor move can be declared to be rolled at 15+. So a minor move is like the basic player actions. Like you can't make your magic work at 15+, but like a combat, avoid harm, endure harm, you can just say that that's a 15+ result.
Got it.
Physics are part of the illusion. You can add a +3 to a roll. And then oubliette is actually one of the options.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
For getting 15+, which is fine because I was looking through it being like, where's oubliette?
I just got excited about the word oubliette, and it made me think of labyrinth. So
yeah,
yes.
It made me think of 9 dots in tenebration, but I mean,
one of them is definitely physics. are part of this. Just awful fun house. Like everything they hallucinated is now actually happening. Very bad for everyone involved.
Well, there's
wallpaper is all fish bones and heavy cartoon lines.
Oh yeah,
because why not?
Oh yeah, it's a bad scene.
You open the door and you look down the hallway and you get the dolly pole and things are going sideways and just, oh no.
Everything looks like as if H.R. Giger was an artist for Cartoon Network.
Oh, so
and I don't know how else to describe that, but it's like it's extremely sexual and there's way too much detail, but it's cute.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Invader Zim.
Worse.
No, it's the last really 25 pages of Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
There it is.
I don't know how else to describe it, but oh my god, yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, Johnny, that's just reality is going to go all fucky-doo inside this building, and we will have the advantage of moving around this fucky-doo reality.
Yes.
Okay. So what physical actions does the Red Lady do to invoke this power, if any, or does she just think at it?
It's concentration, but it's also some intricate hand movements because I think those are dope. And it's lyrical and entrancing to look at, but also wrong. Things are sharp when they should be smooth, smooth when they should be sharp. It's as if her hand movements are non-Euclidean. She's building this unreality and then enveloping this building with it.
The thing that came to my mind is like a cat's cradle.
Yes.
Like where you start doing it with your hands and then your hands start doing it wrong and you kind of hold it up to your vision and just whatever's inside the cat's cradle in your perspective now also starts shifting and tesseracting and folding.
Yes. And if a regular person who has no connection to the illusion, or rather the truth, walked by right now, wouldn't see nothing.
Man, I'd love to be a regular person that has no connection to the illusion. That'd be great. Just a sleeper that just has no clue about the illusion.
Just chilling.
Just chilling.
Just some dude eating a donut and drinking coffee.
You know what's fucking happening to this house? You know what it is? Dark City is happening to this house.
Oh. Yes.
All of Dark City is happening just to this building.
God, fucking hell yes.
We need to have a Dark City watch party. Anyway, that's for another time. Yeah. And see, here's something that makes the Red Lady laugh all to herself because no one else knows this, because no one else served the things that you served back before the fall and the fall and the fall and the fall. When stuff like this happens, there used to be a system. There used to be a methodology for correction. The illusion used to have an immune system. The problem is that somebody gave the immune system free will. And that immune system went and killed and ate a couple archons and tore down their citadels and stripped the wings of their fellow angels and danced over the pyres of the lie and daubed themselves in red. So one of the many things right now that put a smile on the Red Lady's face is the thought of that unholy combination of like a hurdy-gurdy and a harpsichord and those spinning glass bowls that are like all in the way that this do all of
harmonium.
that. Okay, good. Thank you. and like a theremin, like just that like nonsense arrangement of sound producing apparatuses that you know is like half buried in Malkuth's shattered citadel in Metropolis, like 27 layers down in the basement, is going absolutely bonkers right now. And the thing that makes you so fucking happy is that you know for a fact that the angel that was supposed to be listening for it has not been sober since the Battle of the Somme. They have been drunk on fermented blood, sleeping in the trenches of France since that day.
Damn
and
shame.
there's just a quiet, private pleasure in that.
Yes. Now we've got a problem to solve. You do this, and as you do, David is now giving you a look. It is difficult to look at David sometimes as a fully grown creature. He's like 25 years old. That is nothing. What's 25 years to you? Either of you, frankly. It's a blank. And so when David gives you a look that's clearly like, I've got a problem with you right now, look, it is difficult to imagine that look as anything other than like a deeply pouty lip and just so he gives you a look and he says, you're going to have to ask me to kill someone.
David. Dear David, my hunter killer.
Not yours.
Blessed.
Not yours.
Blessed child. Won't you please, pretty please, kill everyone on that top floor and most of the people on the bottom?
Oh, you're not leaving any for me? Damn.
I'll just take
Don't
my
worry.
time.
Fair.
I'd be happy to.
Why,
since you
thank
asked.
you.
And David starts walking across the street and he starts unbuttoning his shirt to the undershirt and braces underneath. And he's like cracking his wrists. And there's just kind of this like spring steely sort of clink, 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 clink of like a mechanized something starting to loosen up.
I could eat this up with a spoon. I could watch this
Couldn't you
all day.
just?
Ah, my stars and garters.
But just remember, Mr. Hauser has a bit of a glow to him. Don't kill that by mistake. You'll see it if you're looking for it.
You can't see him say it, but he's like, all right, don't kill the fucking glowing guy. All right, fine, whatever. But you can like watch his head movements as he just kind of like mutters under his breath about it. And
Thank you, David.
And the red lady takes the Lady Radium by the arm and they walk in together behind David because they're coming too.
Absolutely
This
floating.
isn't just David's show.
Oh no. He gets to have some fun, but leave some.
We have
for us.
work to do.
Oh,
David reaches out a hand and you can hear his illusion start to fail. You can hear the series of lies that he wraps himself in, that he pretends to be a real boy, a human being, because he knows that he is a better killer when he's not lying to himself. And with amazing slowness, like you expect this movement to be fast based off the amount of energy that it provides, but it's not. It's gently slow. He just reaches in with his fingers, piercing through the side of the door, grabs the door frame, twists his foot for leverage, and just with no leg motion, just rotating at the hip like he's the turret of a tank, pulls the entire door frame off and just throws it.
Oh.
And then
David.
walks in, reaches here, like under his armpit, and now there is a gun.
I feel a swoon coming on. Electra, I don't think I can cope with this one. He's too perfect.
Oh, just wait.
Oh.
And then the killing begins.
There was a firefight.
Yes.
It's just David. There's no returning fire.
Eventually, I mean, no, it's a government facility. There are armed men here. It turns into a firefight eventually.
Oh.
Yeah,
David
if they
gets a solid 45 seconds before anybody figures out what the fuck happened, but...
And also, when they open the door...
breathing, and then some robot dude walked in here and started killing everybody. Like, that's a lot to take in under
even if you are on
he's
acid.
walking along the wall. It's very confusing.
Yeah, this does not make sense.
Yeah, physics works consistently in David's favor for this encounter.
Okay. As long as he doesn't think too hard about it of which way is up. Just don't think of which way is up. You'll fall off.
Don't worry about it.
The Red Lady has placed him in a situation that as long as he does nothing but follow his own instincts for murder, he'll be fine. But as soon as he stops to think about it, he's going to fall off the wall. So it's literally like your safety depends on letting go, which he hates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Just believe in yourself, babe. Just believe in yourself, babe.
Believe in yourself.
It wasn't the glove, it was you.
It was you all along.
It was just a feather. You're flying.
Think of a wonderful thought. Any happy little thought.
The movie that comes to mind, as terrible as it is, as delightfully terrible as it is, as much of a Little Debbie like cake as it is, was Equilibrium.
Yes, the
God, I love that movie. The gun.
I know.
So good.
Yeah, zero nutritional value, tastes great.
Tastes
fantastic.
And that's just the idea of just like the bang, 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 just reaching over his shoulder behind his back. Just.
Oh yeah.
Electra, I'm curious. Do you have to ask him to kill every time?
Apparently, it's a new arrangement. He's very, very loyal to the vampires, not to me.
I could see that. One misplaced possessive.
Yes,
all
indeed.
Of his hackles clicked into gear.
Isn't it exciting?
God, he's beautiful.
He's such a puzzle.
I would put him together for hours. After you, my lovely.
And she walks in, right up onto the wall, just full right angle like vampire, and starts meandering towards one of her several goals for the evening.
Okay. Before you did this, the building was 3 floors. Now
still
it
3
is,
floors.
Well, now it is X number of floors, but the problem is that it's X at the top of the page, but at the bottom of the page, it's like a 7,000 character long equation that solves for X.
We are unfortunately on an N-1 levels of building.
Yeah, but the problem is like the equation has like Unicode in it, and it's got like emojis and like hand-carved Babylonian cuneiform. Like,
have it no other way.
It's an equation, but no one has ever solved it.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be solved.
No. So David's going to commit murder and mayhem. So we'll let him go for a minute. We'll give him some lead line. But ladies, tell me what you're doing.
Electra, do you want to go for yours first or mine?
Oh, yours. Certainly.
He's lovely. Mr. Hauser's just a treat. Well, I think I can smell him that way. And she'll step onto a different wall and turn right and end up left. Because of course.
first sign that lets you know, ladies, about why this place went dark are the two men that both started in nice black and white three-piece suits. If you reached into the collective trauma that is the American psyche in the 1950s and said, government man, and then snatched that thought and like poured it into a mold, that's what these men were. You know, they're like 5'10", 5'11", dark hair but not too dark, not pale skin but not too dark, that just kind of very blandly, comfortably Caucasian. And not too built, not just, you know, when you imagine the Men in Black, when that piece of scar tissue sits in the American mind, it takes shape. This is that shape. These are the men that scarred America's mind with these knives. And so it seems that they started off, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, wearing their nice pressed suits. But now they've somethinged. I will leave it to you to decide whether they have ascended or descended. But now they are lost. Their minds are gone. Clearly, something has happened. That beautiful little talk you gave David about how it opens your mind and it shows you things, and it's delightful if you know what you're doing. They got on the bad ride, or they were the bad ride, possibly. And so one of them still has his gun and will aim it at you, but not fire until we're done describing and you guys get to move. But the other one is probably going to be the bigger problem, because the other one has what looks like a stabbing dagger. It's a long, narrow thing, and it's coming at you fairly quickly. But the problem is that like from the pelvis up, it's human, but its legs have been, it's split. Like the skin has split, the muscles have split, all of the tendons and everything have kind of opened up and flowered and bloomed into kind of like a fungal sort of growth, and it's with all of those different muscles, it is reaching out and with the ends of tendons kind of like digging into the used to be floor, and it's pulling itself along at actually an absurdly fast clip. And right about now, which I will then leave you to make your moves and respond to these two delightful people, you realize that the reason this happened is because he pulled his own femurs out to make his daggers.
Oh. Beautiful.
Yep.
Welcome to Rapid Caroline.
Hello.
I'm obsessed with every part of this. Oh, his ankles. You have to listen. All of his leg bones look impeccable. I'll have all.
It's very important. In that case, I think seeing both of them, the red lady knows which one that the lady radiant would like to deal with, and so she would like to move with preternatural speed to catch the fellow with the gun in a waltz, and turn and spin him and move that sense of reality around him to turn that gun into butterflies and then stab him in the tummy with my big claws.
All right. What the hell do you want to roll about that?
That's a great fucking question.
Well,
I made up some bullshit.
Yes, but we already did that power. So to me, that sounds like, do you want to roll plus combat or plus magic? Like, what's the bigger lean?
I think magic.
Okay. So,
and if I need to modify or take out parts of the description to make it more magic and less combat, that's fine.
No, that's fine. It just means that the reality twist waltz is the bigger part of the action.
Yeah.
And that the disemboweling is just the
coda on the end of it. Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. It's the red lip mark at the end of that letter.
Yeah.
That's a 10.
Hey.
Okay.
That's enough.
I think
that's
you had
enough.
Some weapons on your character sheet, right? Was I that prepared?
I have big claws.
I have one.
Yeah, you do.
I do. Fun fact, I actually have one of those. It's not made out of uranium glass, but I have Zeracord.
My weapons actually have quotation marks. Like the subheader weapons is weapons.
I love that. I love that for you.
So yes, comma but, as Ben would say.
My mom taught me that to keep me from freaking out before she was done telling me something. That was the ADHD management trick.
I love it.
She'd be like, thing you don't like, comma but.
Comma but.
Like reconciling statement.
Yeah, comma but. However, comma.
Yes, I think for this, she's pretty much entirely using MK Claw.
Yeah. I think that's as close as we're going to get without having to deeply improvise. So through a variety of factors, the attack does not fully land. The opponent is staggered by the onset of visions, or in this case, the removal of his right kidney and a third of his liver.
Delicious.
But he does get a move back on you.
Reasonable.
Before that happens. And the move that he is going to get is as you turn his gun into butterflies, there is a brief moment where his grasp on his reality and your attempt to pluck it from his fingers get in a fight. And in that moment, he manages to make the thing in his hand think gun hard enough to fire. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to roll plus combat on the general move chart of avoid harm.
Okay. Oh dear.
Oh no. That's either like a 5, because hashtag 5 club, or it's way.
It's a 6.
It's a 2 or a 20.
Yep, we love to see it.
6.
I rolled a total of 6.
A total of 6?
Yep. Beautiful. Yep. Including the bonuses. I just rolled a 6. So
strong narrative decisions, people.
What happens to the red lady?
Oh no. She gets fucking shot.
Yeah, she gets Yeah, we don't do combat on Wrath and Tears enough. I don't have this one memorized.
To quote Sinners and Saints, you are incredibly shot.
Yes. You were too slow to react, or you made a bad judgment call. Perhaps you didn't avoid any harm at all, or you ended up in an even worse spot than before. The GM makes a move. Now, you do have some fuck you, no it didn't powers floating around. Do you want to bring any to bear right now, or do you want to save some?
That's a fair point. No, for narrative interestingness, I will take this one on the chin, and then probably next time I absolutely botch a roll. No, I didn't.
Okay, so that's going to be 3 harm. Now you can roll to endure harm as well.
Okay, is that also combat?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's plus combat minus harm. So it's plus your combat minus 3.
Got it. Okay. 13.
13. Okay. You are still standing with GM picks 1 condition. The injury throws you off balance. You lose something. You receive a serious wound. How about it throws you off balance?
Okay.
The red lady is used to being the only reality bender in her area. She is used to the illusion doing either what it's supposed to or exactly what she tells it to.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea of having to engage like in a psychic war to define a gun was weird enough that you were like, what? And so, yeah. And so it wasn't so much the physical damage of it, but the way the bullet turned into a bullet, turned into a caterpillar, turned into a pupae, turned into a butterfly, and then the butterfly unfolded and rewrapped itself into the bullet again.
Oh.
You weren't ready for that.
Fucking rude.
And now you are desperately curious to get their drugs.
Yes.
Because whatever they got 3 weeks ago, it was apparently the good shit.
We'll take a whole book of stamps of whatever the fuck is on that paper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Oh no, this was government acid. It came in big bottles.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because people were getting 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 standard doses of LSD multiple times.
Listen, let's take 300 tabs and steal the moon out of the sky and have silent psychic conversations.
Yeah, pretty much.
And we drank the blood of some people, but those people were on drugs, and now I am a wizard.
So yeah, she's a little bit shot and a lot of it surprised. And this man is still going to die, but now she has an extra check mark on her to-do list. Just get them drugs.
Well, he's generally on his way to dead.
Yeah.
So, Viridian, what do you want to do to your squiddy poo here?
Oh, it's such a hard decision because, well, I could use my urinathame because why not? But some of these are very good. I think I am going to go ahead and we're just going to give this man a nice big smooch. I'm going to use my last kiss.
Okay.
2d10, correct? It's been a couple years since I've played.
Everything is a 2d10.
All right.
That'll be plus combat.
14, baby.
Nice.
Yep.
Last kiss.
Yep.
10 to 14. They're dead, just not today. 2 damage and 3 stability as the beautiful shine flowers in their body. Would you like to describe this?
Yeah, so it's kind of bizarre in that she just sort of opens her arms and lets him run into her as she'll kind of try and hold the wrists of these femoral misericords and I'll let them go wherever they're going to go. But she just kind of leans in and lands a big fat sloppy kiss somewhere on the mouth ? Of this thing's face. And his jaw starts to sort of recede and bubble and warp. And as she pulls away, she just, and one of his molars lands on the floor and rattles around onto the floor.
Well, 2 harm is actually enough to kill him.
Oh, shame.
Yeah, because
so it's just
yes. It takes longer than you might want it to, but essentially he goes through the death of a radium girl over the course of about 30 seconds. So his jaw does rot and start to fall off, and you can see the destruction. And even the bones that are in your body right now, like piercing your abdomen, start to decay in a very familiar way. And in many ways, that makes the damage not exist because, really, how is that different from anything else already in there? So
and whatever goop is remaining of him, this cancerous goop, is just lovely, solidifying, bright green crystals.
Okay. And now you have the question answered of How are his ankles?
Not how they should be. Sad.
Not great.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
They don't make them like they used to.
Upstairs, where actually, Samara, can you just roll me 2d10 and tell me what you get? Let's see how David's doing.
Oh, sure. 15.
All right, great. From upstairs, there is a sound that could only be described to us in 2022 as a kaiju roar. Some loud, bestial, window rattling. If the windows were there to rattle, something is upstairs, and there is a bestial roar and a moment of silence, and then an air raid siren. Like full decibel, like World War II London fucking air raid siren screams in response. And the indefinite but distinct sounds of absolute mayhem start rattling from upstairs, downstairs, the next room over, as David and something throw down.
Oh, Electra.
Never let it be said I didn't show you a good time.
I'm going to have to visit him. Oh, I need to make him a regular.
Also, I've been shocked.
Oh, good heavens. I thought you just had that is your blood. I have not seen that in so long.
No, nor have I.
It'll be fine. But I want to know what did this, because these two weren't me. This is something else, and I want whatever did that. And she takes a deep breath, scenting the air, trying to figure out where to go next. Let's split up. Your fellow is that way.
Yes.
I'm going to go that way.
Oh,
don't worry, I'll share. I just want to make sure we get done what we need to get done before David finishes his walkies.
I'm of the opinion, and I know you know this, that LSD trips are always best when you have walkies.
Of course.
Well, all right. I go this way, you go that.
See you in a tick, darling.
Okay. Who wants to tell their little bit of story first?
By all means, Lady Radio.
Okay. Okay.
Go find your man.
It me.
You going for
Hello,
your boy?
man. I'm going to find my boy. The boy on the roster of boys to be appropriately installed.
Yes. How about you roll plus magic, because it feels like you're kind of doing a little bit of like a sensory journey.
Yes, my sensibility rights.
As opposed to physically mayheming your way through the building. See, the only thing that comes to mind is the Castlevania game from the Super Nintendo, where they figured out how to make the walls spin behind the platforms.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Well, that's an 11. I did not roll. One of the dice did not like me.
Okay. Yeah. So you find Mr. Hauser. The thing, it took you longer than you wanted to. So what kind of difficulty in this twisting reality bend, this cat's cradle of mayhem, what do you think happened in here that made this difficult, that gave you some kind of a setback?
I think they started to fortify the room with lead.
Ooh,
like yes, there's lead paint. So there's that ambient difficulty because yes, there's lead paint. Of course there's lead paint. It's the 50s. But they noticed the glow. And they went, well, we've got the cheapest lead shit available that we can find. So let's start piling up lead where we can, how we can, and raid all of the local dentist's office for whatever. Actually, I don't think that they're starting to do that yet. But, spare bullets that have not been fully loaded yet, and things like that are all fortified around the door here. So as she walks up to this doorway, reality unbends, and she finds herself back on the floor, about to touch the doorknob, and she can feel that it is the cold, unyielding lead that she does not like in anything but crystal. Because if it's going to be poisonous, I want someone to ingest it. But I think that's the biggest problem, is that this whole fucking thing is that they know what radiation poisoning is vaguely, because World War II was a thing, and that this man is kind of glowing, I think. So let's just.
Okay. So how do you overcome that? What did it cost you? You can say, I don't know, Ben, you tell me, and that's fine.
Ben, you tell me. Yeah, I don't.
Okay, that's fine.
I've wordsed very hard recently, and all my good words are mostly used.
You did words very good. So the problem that you experienced is not one of damage so much as it is something much more important to Lady Radium, her dignity. Because there is no beautiful, there is no elegant, there is no masterful way to dig your fingers in and peel this miserable lead away. And at the end of the day, that is what you have to do. So maybe you found a crowbar or a table leg, or maybe you just used your own hands. But
it is a very soft metal.
It is.
Damn it. Shit, this bullshit. This is stupid.
Yes. So what will happen is that generally you're just going to be a little bit more pissed off and more inclined to rash decisions as you experience, it is one of the few times in your life that you are thankful that the Red Lady wasn't around, because you know that if she saw you go after this door like a bear going after a beehive in a tree, she would have some shit to say.
It's the Jack Parsons' favorite color being red, not green thing all over again. I'm fucking sure of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
Damn it.
Yes.
All these men like red, not green. It's a damn shame.
It is a damn shame.
Fuck you. With all the love in my heart.
So you find Mr. Hauser. Pretty good that you decided to check up on him, because even as you see him, you can tell that it is time for him to join your garden. Mm. From here, you can feel the heat in his bones, like a normal person would feel, like that comfortable wood fire glow, like that instinctual, the good stuff, that very, it feels to you very natural.
It feels like home.
It does. It feels like home, and it does revitalize you a little bit. But Hauser is laying on a bed, and he has suffered indignities. Clearly no one wants to come in here and deal with the man that started glowing when they turned off the lights. Because he is glowing. And he has also clearly been dosed.
Oh.
So this man dying of uranium poison, who was already some kind of a low-grade psychic or slightly awakened or something, has now been dosed with the bad stuff. And you can see his radon dreams as they shine on the inside of his skull.
It's like going to the drive-in.
Yes. And you can see, you can do this at any point. You can see the butcher's bill of the beautiful shine starting to be collected. And let's get him out of here.
Of course.
Or let's get him out of here soon. Probably would work better if all the hallways started talking to each other again.
As long as they're talking to the red lady, I'm fine. And once I'm out of this room, away from the lead, we'll be okay.
Yes.
Physics agree with us.
Yeah.
What you find now that you've kind of gotten into the room and what you have found is that what it was they had made a tiny little bomb shelter. But it was like a tiny little bomb shelter made by people who were not well.
Oh.
So it was essentially just like lead that they bought from the store. Like just like lead sheet that they
There
had
is
like
a
bought at a
sheet
hardware.
of paper. It's like butcher paper that just says lead written on it.
Yes. Like, and
oh, bless these men and women, I assume, but Michael, I've come to get you and you're going to come home with me. You don't need to wake up. But I need you to understand that you're going to be working for me for a very, very long time until the last little bit of you has had its last little half-life. Would you like that, Michael?
he says, to human ears, it doesn't sound like much. It sounds like a half-asleep mumble. To you, however, you hear it clearly, because if anyone is used to hearing and understanding voices shredded by the beautiful shine, it's you. And the thing he says tells you that 15 years ago, however long ago it was, when you looked at him and said, yes, I should invest in this one. What he says is, I knew on the day I met you that you would be my biggest strike.
There's an entire deposit that they won't find for decades. I'll show you exactly where it is. It's the mother lode.
And he smiles, kind of.
The vision hasn't started yet, but it will.
And seems to be excited about it, although, you know, he's not really that great, so.
Poor thing. I will scoop him up. And once I have him collected in whatever sort of the most gentle fashion, because this man, a strong breeze could shatter him, collect him and escort him out, I'm sure.
He is very delicate.
Poor thing. That's fine.
Yes, he has been dowsing for over a decade using a focusing thing that Lady Radium gave him. It's actually a wonder that he is in one piece still.
Yes. Well, I didn't make it out of radium. I made it out of uranium.
The light stuff.
The light stuff. It's a filtered cigarette.
Yes. Yes, and as my voice tells you, that doesn't do any damage. It's fine.
That's fine.
Red Lady.
Yeah.
You have found yourself with some extra time, thanks to some of the struggles that Lady Viridian has experienced.
Yes.
And so when you get to the records office, you seem to have time. You don't have to really be in a hurry. So, is there anything that you need to do here?
Burn it all. Just in case.
Just in case. And so you just find a lighter somewhere. It's the 50s. I imagine that even in this causal maelstrom that there's several flammables around.
Yes, I think there are many, many lighters, and she doesn't even need to click it necessarily. She just casually convinces the lighter that it is already lit.
Yes, you do. And
then she moves on to her next task in her to-do list.
Okay. And so the paperwork that discussed what happened in this house, the pictures, most of the film, and yes. The handwritten orders from Director Gottlieb instructing someone to pick up a Michael Hauser. Gone.
She watched that one burn personally.
Very good. So,
here's a fun fact about radium. In the Curie's first experiments, before they fully had isolated and identified radium, they burned this piece of pitchblende that they'd received, this uranitite. And one of the things they noticed is that it was a bright green flame with carmine spectral streaks.
That's fun.
How toxic was that smoke to breathe in?
Well, considering that they died of super cancer.
Yeah.
Tasty stuff.
Delicious.
Yeah.
I love having a bowl of it in the morning for breakfast. It's like Wheaties.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Curies did the cancer speed run.
Oh, God.
So, the Red Lady has 2 remaining items on her to-do list. Sort of 2.5.
Okay.
She wanted to pick up whatever drugs they had here anyway, just in case Clara might need something at some point. She seems to struggle kind of a lot. But now that the Red Lady knows what is here is particularly potent, she would like as much of that as she can find. She also has to pick up her Argent Iconoclast drop-off. And she would like to get that into the trunk, preferably before Lady Radium makes it out with her mans.
Okay, you can prioritize that. I mean, it's your reality blend.
Exactly.
It's your reality blend, so you can absolutely use one of your stored moves and just say that works.
Yes.
That's exactly the kind of like
the timing of that works out in such a way where the package is in the trunk and no one is the wiser.
Okay. And we're going to leave that package's particulars till later?
Yes.
Okay. So that's in the trunk. And now on to the drugs, I guess.
Yes, let's find some drugs.
In the meantime, Caroline, can you roll for David this time?
Absolutely, I can. Guess what, baby? That's double aughts.
Ooh.
All right.
David's having a grand old time.
Good boy, David. You're a good boy.
You're a good boy.
Are you going for walkies? You having walkies? You're a good boy.
Oh, you're a good murder angel.
You're a puppy. You're such a boy. David's going to stab me.
Somebody's going to.
Yep.
David actually intersects with the Red Lady at one point. And he is singing. But the problem is that David has fully... Is it disassociation when he thinks he's a human, or is it disassociation when he's a this?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, like...
Yeah.
I don't study enough ologies to even guess at how David responds to the way he's dealing with things.
Well, one is just disassociation, the other is maladaptive daydreaming, so pick one.
I'm not going to. You can't make me.
Fair.
No.
So
audience, you pick one. Just keep it to yourself.
So David has, in this moment, probably in the process of killing whatever giant loud thing made him roar back, has fully kind of accepted who/what he is in this moment. And so when he kind of walks through the hall and gives you the jauntiest fucking salute on the way past, like...
No, you know what it is? You know where they pass through? It is one of the secret, like the Red Lady has made it into one of the secret observation rooms that were built. But at this point, the one-way mirror or whatever it was that the observers were using to conceal themselves has broken outwards. Mm-hmm. So she would be in the observation place, but they can see each other through an open window.
Absolutely. And he walks through or under or around some of the landscape in a way that tells you that he has accepted not only for the moment what's going on with him, but what's going on around him. And he is stainless steel and olive drab paint. And he is the black char of smokestacks. And threaded through him now in this moment, spreading from that bright metropolis silver handprint in his chest, is you can see like tree branches starting now to thread around and through his rib cage. And he walks past, and he is blood up to his biceps. And the thing that's interesting, and the thing that kind of that makes the little, like, it's very Captain America. It's that like, it's that asexual flirting thing where it's just like, he's like, doesn't mean anything. It's not an invitation. It's just like a hi. And he does it, but when you look at his hand, you can see the micropores opening in the metal and pulling the blood in. And so...
Mental note.
Yes. It is interesting to wonder what happens to the Van Horst at this exact moment in time that inspires the creature that Matthew is bound to begin absorbing liquids into himself for use later. And so the benefit that is received from that good roll is that David's in a good mood.
Good.
So later today, he will be more inclined to not be a recalcitrant shithead during conversation. Yes. But we are coming close towards the end of our time. So we're going to be a little bit more efficient because we have a few more. We need to make a couple more people scream at their screens. Yes. So you find the drugs, THEDRUGZ. They are the brown, I'm going to say medical glass. They're the brown glass, and they have the tops that are designed to be used with a syringe. So they kind of have that. Yeah, it's no good.
Oh boy, let's mainline some acid.
The thing that's worse is that the labeling is clearly like absolutely designed by the same people that design like military labeling. This is government.
It's one step away from just having 3 big X's on it.
Yes.
It's the lowest bidder. It's the lowest bidder.
Yes. This stuff is labeled MCX95 EX15 /COH25 /ADVIS 78. What the hell does that mean? No idea. But
yeah, whatever. The red lady convinces reality that she has a bag big enough to hold all of this and just kind of does one of the big arm sweeps and takes fucking all of it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this room that has all of these drugs in it, because there's also like painkillers and some uppers and some downers, some bennies, like, you know, the normal potpourri. Clearly, a room like this is going to have a giant black leather doctor's bag. Clearly, for that one right there,
and you can reach up to your fucking shoulder into that doctor's bag.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Duh.
Yeah, it's like grimdark Mary Poppins.
Yeah. Perfect.
I would play that.
Yeah, she takes all of this and, of some of the uppers, the downers, the bennies, things that are a fun time, things that mortals in the illusion tend to like, anything that might seem useful. And that's her to-do list done. So if there's any murder on the way out, great. But otherwise, David's having a grand old time and, she'll meet him out at the car.
For the sake of brevity, there is functionally no combat. However, the 2 ladies do end up disposing of a few other people. So what you can tell, and I'll make it clear as opposed to the result of exploration, we're on a timer tonight. People need to go to bed at the right time. And so that's okay, because take care of yourself before the game. Duh. What it seems is that the LSD blend that you now have several bottles of, enough to do some Joker shit to an entire major metropolitan area.
Yes.
Apparently that stuff is like liquid bad trip. Like it just goes way down. It goes way down here to the reptile brain and finds something and activates fear centers, trauma centers, something, because apparently everybody that started taking it, that even microdosed it, went bad crazy. They went so far that some of them actually started bending reality. Like they started damaging the illusion around them.
Yes, good.
Which is
on
where
one
you got
hand,
the guy.
we're so proud of them. And on the other hand, shit. That guy stabbed the Lady Radium with his own femurs.
Yes, while crawling around on his entirely disarticulated, like, leggy muscles. So
yeah, it's fine.
Yes. So, Lady Radiant, is there anything you want to do while you're here, or are you satisfied?
Other than, I'm pretty satisfied. I mean, ideally, she would have caught a glimpse of David in his just doing exactly what he loves / hates to do best. And I'm gonna need to visit these people more often, because this one is perfect. My gods,
just truly exquisite.
Oh my me. I'm gonna need this one. It's not even that I want this one in my garden. I want to just fucking watch whatever happens to him. Give me popcorn. But nothing other than that, I will meet them wherever I need to meet them. Put men in back seats, because of course, conveniently, no one would tell me to put this in the trunk.
No, of course not. No, and the red lady allows both of them to have back seats so that the Lady Radiant can do whatever she needs to do.
There is a 6-corpse couch in the back seat. You can hang out back
That's
here
true.
with us.
Those are big. No, the lady in red lounges in the front seat like someone is taking a nap on a long car trip, but it's less that she's unconscious or asleep and more that she's like low energy, like energy saving mode. because she has a wound she needs to fix.
Yes.
And so she's going to fix that.
Can I do any woo-woo bullshit to help that? I don't know.
You could, but also you know that the Red Lady is going to get over this fairly quickly.
Oh yeah.
Like, not like she has internal organs. So
yeah, we'll just
yeah. Oh yeah, she's doing her own woo-woo bullshit. And by the time they get back to Radium's house, she's fine, or she's going to be fine relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Good.
The one thing I want to say before we get back to Radium's house and kind of have our quick wrap up is that the David that Lady Radium saw was very different. Because part of what happened in the annihilation of causality is that the way David manifested changed from moment to moment. The thing that she sees is a creature composed of all metal and parts, but on this one, it has a brass war mask that's like a fanged skull, and it kind of has like spikes and things running down the back, and its arms are not the beautiful, like almost like sacred geometry of the thing that the lady in red saw. It is spikes and armatures that sometimes turn into hands. It is like he is an explosion of cutting mayhem just waiting to happen. And there's blood in the joints, and there's like old lubricant crusted, and squirming through his torso, just writhing in a way that is both profoundly organic and extremely uncomfortably sexual, is this giant, like boa-sized worm, this black, slimy kind of leechy remora thing that's crawling through his guts. And
yeah, I love this one. We need to keep him around. This one. Cannot wait to watch what happens with this one, because oof.
So everyone gets in the car.
Yes.
They all have a nice drive home. Lady Radium can whisper sweet nothings to her new acquisition. The Red Lady will reboot. David is he's feeling peppy. When they get back to the house, it's all kissy. Must see you soon. Keep me updated on your progress with the lamp, the large Fresnel. And she leaves the Lady Radium one of the bottles of mega bad trip acid.
Yes! We need to do some of this together.
Of course.
Next time just like the lodge. We deserve it. We'll get enough people too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So David, because David got sent for walkies, it always improves his mood to be covered in blood, just like the best ones. And so when he leaves, when he gets back to the house, he actually like goes and mixes drinks. Goes and mixes drinks, and he brings them over, and he sits down and he converses, and he has opinions now. And like when they leave, he actually kisses Lady Radium's hand, and it's right on the razor edge of like jaunty / flirty. Like it's just that little bit where you're like, if I had the rest of an evening with you,
Radium will actually make a comment. Yeah, Radium will make a comment and say, "Be careful. This might go where you might not want it to go. You don't. It's more. You be careful. You don't have time for this right now. You are on a timetable. I am not."
Yes.
And
once again, that weird Courts of Europe thing shows back up, because his response is that perfect, like gentlemanly, but if time were not real, like absolutely, like right out of Napoleon's court or right out of the Tsar's court, like that perfect compliment. I get it, but no, but thanks, like that.
Oh, the Red Lady is delighted by this development.
I want you in the worst way, standing up in a hammock. that level of thing.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, and we mustn't forget the watch.
He taps his shirt pocket.
Good. If the girls need any sort of jewelry, of course, you know where I am. You know what they like, I'm sure.
Of course.
And with the mention of the Van Horst, his mood starts to
wither.
Yeah. But
now, David, on to the next part of our journey, and the good Lady Radium will be in touch soon.
Okay. So there are two things that we need to look at as we drive away. As the Lady Radium stands on her balcony and waves, and as the sun goes down and down, the visible after images of that wave keep floating in the air. And kind of as she goes back into her house, you can see the long exposure glow. We're going to look at two things. We are going to look at, for a moment, a beautiful jewelry box about the size for a decent necklace that David hasn't opened yet because she gave them to him too late. But in that box is a set of 10 scintillating radium glass claws that he's not ready to admit fit in his fingers. And let's go through the back seat. Is the Red Lady now in the front or in the back? Where is she?
Front. Yes, she has moved to the front seat.
So in the back seat is, I don't know, like a double-sized bag lunch or something like that they picked up not at Lady Radium's house. A couple of hoagies, a couple of pops, and then let's take a moment and look in the trunk, shall we? Let's have a moment and let's look at, what was that called? At the Argent Iconoclast code word that made the Red Lady very perky and extremely interested. And let us look at a human being that looks exactly like Bethany Van Horst, wrapped in a blanket, sleeping in the trunk of the car. Thank you very much for watching episode 2 of the Red Intermission. And remember, if you're acting like the Red Lady, go to therapy.
Go to therapy. If you're acting like the Green Lady, also go to therapy.
Double therapy.
Go.
Double therapy.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.